Hello, and welcome to LifeTie's Corporate Compliance Training. In this training session, you will learn about our corporate compliance and whistleblower policies. Let's get started. What is corporate compliance? Corporate compliance is the process of following laws, rules, regulations, policies, and other practices that apply to LifeTies. As a recipient of federal funds, LifeTies is required to accept the responsibility and accountability for tracking the funds and determining and overseeing how funds are being used and reported. LifeTies is responsible for educating its employees on the policies and procedures that protect them in the event that fraud, waste, or abuse is detected. In the event that you do detect any wrongdoings, your corporate compliance officer is Lori Morris. To begin, health claims fraud is the act of making a false or misleading statement or omitting part of a record, bill, claim, or other document, and then submitting this document for payment or reimbursement for healthcare services. It is important to understand what this is because it is illegal, and you will be protected by law if you suspect LifeTies is conducting health claims fraud. If you suspect LifeTies is conducting health claims fraud, the New Jersey False Claims Act will protect you if you are threatened, discharged, harassed, or in any other manner discriminated against for attempting to stop violation of the NJFCA. If you do attempt to stop violation of the NJFCA, remedies include reinstatement with comparable seniority, 2 times the amount of any back pay, interest on any back pay, and compensation for any special damages, for example, litigation costs or attorney's fees. The New Jersey Conscientious Employee Protection Act will protect you if you blow the whistle on your employer for fraudulent behavior. Employers are prohibited from retaliating against employees for disclosing that a fellow employee is in violation of law or is delivering improper quality of patient care, providing information to or testifying before a public body conducting an investigation into quality of patient care, or refusing or objecting to an activity, policy, or practice that violates a law, constitutes improper quality of patient care, is fraudulent or criminal, or is incompatible with public policy concerning public health, safety, welfare, or environmental protection. Next, we are going to move into our whistleblower policy, which allows you to report illegal or dishonest activity without retaliation from your company. The laws described in this policy create a comprehensive scheme for controlling waste, fraud, and abuse in the federal and New Jersey healthcare programs by giving appropriate governmental agencies the authority to seek out, investigate, and prosecute violations. Enforcement activities are pursued in 3 available forums: criminal, civil, and administrative. This provides a broad spectrum of remedies to battle this problem. Whistleblower statutes and protections for individuals reporting fraud, waste, and abuse in good faith encourage reporting and thereby create broader opportunities to prosecute violators. Whistleblower statuses create a level of security employees need to help in prosecuting waste, fraud, and abuse cases. LifeTie's whistleblower policy is intended to encourage complaints, reports, or inquiries about illegal practices or violations of LifeTie's Code of Ethics, including illegal or improper conduct by the organization itself, by its leadership, or by others on its behalf. Appropriate subjects to raise under this policy include financial improprieties, accounting or audit matters, ethical violations, or other similar illegal or improper practices or policies. It is the policy of LifeTies that all directors, employees, volunteers, consultants, and interns observe high standards of business and personal ethics in the conduct of their duties and responsibilities. Next, we are going to walk through LifeTies whistleblower policy procedure. First, to begin, if you believe that some policy, practice, or activity of LifeTies is violating a law, you have an obligation to report it in a timely fashion. Write an anonymous complaint to the compliance officer or board of trustees. Second, LifeTies will not retaliate against an employee who has made a protest or complaint in good faith against some practice of the organization or of another individual or entity with whom LifeTies has a business relationship. Third, Lifeties will not retaliate against employees who disclose or threaten to disclose to a supervisor or a public body that any activity, policy, or practice that they believe violates a law or clear mandate of a public policy. Fourth, Lifeties will not retaliate against employees who provide information to or testify before a public body conducting an investigation, hearing, or inquiry into any violation of law, rule, or regulation. And fifth, Lifeties will not retaliate against any employee who objects or refuses activities, policies, or practices which the employees reasonably believe violates a law, rule, or regulation, is fraudulent or criminal, or is incompatible with a clear mandate of public policy. Any reports of concerns and investigation pertaining thereto shall be kept confidential to the extent possible, consistent with the need to conduct an adequate investigation and adhere to any applicable laws or regulations. Reporting should always be made to the executive director and the person serving as the compliance officer or the president of the board of trustees. Their contact information can be found on this slide. Any report can be made anonymously. The protection against retaliation does not apply unless an employee has brought the activity, policy, or practice to the attention of the executive director by written notice and given the employer a reasonable opportunity to correct this activity, policy, or practice. Disclosure is not required if the employee reasonably believes that the activity, policy, or practice is known to the executive director or if the employee fears physical harm as a result of disclosure. Finally, there will be no retaliation against individuals who report a suspected violation except when the organization determines a false report was made with intent to harm the organization or an individual within the organization. Thank you for listening to Lifeties Corporate Compliance and Whistleblower Policies.